Does a lawsuit winner always get legal fees reimbursed? The answer is no. And you might be surprised by this because you often hear about in the news parties are seeking reimbursement of legal fees. First off, most lawsuits ask for reimbursement of legal fees even if they don't have a chance of recovering them. But you might be asking, well, when can you recover attorney's fees and when can't you? You might have heard about the loser pays rule. The loser pays rule says whoever loses the lawsuit pays the attorney's fees for the other side. In the United States, we call that the English rule. The idea is that in England, the rule may be that the loser pays the lawsuit. But in the United States of America, the courts have determined, and I should say the legislature and Congress have determined, that we don't want to incentivize people to litigate and force them to have to resolve this through the court system to get their legal fees reimbursed. We want to discourage litigation. Let's face it, United States is litigious enough. So, in the United States, general rule is you do not get your attorney's fees when you win, unless there is a statute or contract that allows for it. And when I say statute, I'm including administrative rules. But basically, if there's not a law that allows you to recover the attorney's fees you spent, and there's not a contract that allows you to recover it, then the general rule is you can't recover it. There are some exceptions. In court rules, for example, if somebody does something bad or violates serious rules, the court can order one party to reimburse the other for legal fees in that particular hearing or that particular event. But it is not for the whole case, it would just be for those particular issues or events. It may be shocking to hear this, but you generally will not get your attorney's fees reimbursed if you win, even if you win huge in a lawsuit. The only exceptions are if a statute, some other law, or a contract entitles you to recover attorney's fees. So, when drafting contracts, I encourage every business owner to think about whether you want the right to recover attorney's fees. I observed one time when a company did great work for its client, and the client said, "We would like a 30% discount or we're not going to pay." And the company said, "Why? Was there something wrong?" "No, there's nothing wrong." But essentially what they said was, "We know that you're going to have to sue us, and it's going to cost you a lot more money than you'll be suing us for. So if you don't give us a discount, we're not going to pay you." When that company brought this scenario to me, the first question I asked was, do you have a contract with them that allows you to recover attorney's fees if they don't pay? Unfortunately, the answer was no, which means the American rule applies and they have no right to recover attorney's fees. In this case, attorney's fees would cost more suing them than the amount in dispute. And so as a result, they had to take a lesser payment for their services because they had no other option. That's how some unscrupulous and dirty companies play the legal system. And if you want to protect yourself against those sorts of predators, you as a business owner will think about, should I put in my contract an obligation that if the client doesn't pay their bill, I have a right to recover attorney's fees? One other issue comes up here, and that is, if we're in a settlement, can we recover attorney's fees? Well, whatever parties will agree to when settling the case is enforceable by law. So if a party agrees to cover the other party's attorney's fees, then that's their right. And basically now you have a settlement agreement, which is a contract, allowing for the reimbursement of attorney's fees. But usually, a demand for attorney's fees in settlement negotiations is the first thing to go. Because every attorney knows a settlement involves a significant compromise between the parties, and neither side is going to get their attorney's fees covered. in most situations. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen a case that I've worked on where there was a settlement and one side paid the other side's attorney's fees. They always ask for it, but in settlements, it's a compromise, and attorney's fees are the first part of the settlement offer to be rejected by the other side. Part of it is because, hey, both sides have attorney's fees. Why should I pay yours? You should pay mine. And that kind of argument goes nowhere. You are welcome to subscribe to the Aaron Hall Attorney YouTube channel. You are welcome to subscribe to our little reminder email system at aaronhall.com/free. You can also sign up and follow us on other social media sites. I'm Aaron Hall, an attorney for business owners and entrepreneurial companies. It was a pleasure talking with you today and answering your questions from an educational perspective. As I always say, before you rely on any of this, consult with an attorney. It's my hope that you use these questions to identify topics and questions to bring up with your attorney. I hope you are doing well. Take care.